Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today? Coming at you live right now. Let me make sure we're working on Facebook over here. And cool. All right, here we go. Everybody, happy Monday. Was a fantastic weekend for me. Hope it was for you guys as well. Hopefully you came back recharged, ready to start your Monday off with a blast. If you could do me a favor, as you guys are joining on, if you can go ahead and smash the like button, smash the heart button. What that'll do is that'll tell the Facebook algorithm that there's people on and engaging, and it'll help spread the message to as many people as possible, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to help as many people as possible learn how to lease and sell commercial real estate. So I'm going to wait a few minutes, get some folks on. Meanwhile, as you're coming on, do me a favor and go ahead and start telling me where you're coming in from, what state, and what your sub-market is, because well, you'll see in a little second. I'm going to help you out. So, oh, look at this. I got a flood of likes and a flood of smiley faces. Thank you, everybody. And do me a favor, do let me know what the chat looks like. I'm sorry, in the chat, where you're coming in from and so forth. So we are in for a good one today. If you want to learn how to work less weekends, and actually work with people you like, I got a formula for you. So come on in. Oh, we got Carol. Thank you to be the first one to respond, Carol. Detroit, Michigan. Awesome. Welcome, Carol. Let's see what we got here. Okay. And by the way, if you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to reach out. Feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to answer them towards the end of the live. So we'll go from there. I see Catherine Duncan. Hey, Catherine, welcome back again. I see you're on from Tampa, Florida. Awesome. Great place. I lived in Tampa for a little while. They're right by the Polar Cup on Bush Boulevard one summer in between college, because I went to Florida State, so go Noles. So great city. Anyone else? Let's see. Jose Maldonado, where are you coming in from, Jose? What city and state? Talk to me. We got Michael Humphreys coming from LA. Awesome. Los Angeles, California, #2 highest average commercial transactions in the country, second only to Hawaii. So awesome. Jose is coming in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Awesome. Welcome, Jose. Well, guys, I like to be pretty prompt, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Other people are still hopping on now. But today what we're going to talk about is if you want to have, if you feel deep down inside that there's a better way of doing things, maybe working smarter, not harder, right? Because at a certain point, all of us tend to burn out. Then I would by all means, pay attention today. I see Olga says Zoom doesn't let me in. Yes, Olga, on Mondays, these are live in the Facebook group, and then Olga's one of my private students in the Realty World Commercial program, and those are the ones that are on Wednesdays via Zoom. So that's a different place. But thank you so much for coming, Olga. It's really great to have you on board. Olga's coming in from Miami. Awesome, my city here. Bienvenidos a Miami. We got Joe Chikoski coming in from Las Vegas. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So we got a bunch of folks on from different parts of the country. And I will bet my bottom dollar, from having spoken to hundreds of people on the subject, probably over 1,000 at this point, we hear similar trends, right? We hear similar things going on the residential side, especially in the last year. All the problems that always were there got like 10x'd in terms of what's happening and stuff. But let's go on and get down to it. So today is to kind of just open your mind just a little bit, and want you to kind of consider what would it be like if you you took maybe a slightly different approach. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. And if you guys can let me know, and also do me a favor, hit that like button and smash the heart button. It helps push the algorithm to other people so they all get Facebook notifications. If you only announce something, it only goes to about 10% of your audience, and I've got about 1,100 folks in the group. So the more you hit that like button, the more we get to share these concepts with others and help enrich other people's lives as well. So if you could do that for me, guys, I'd really, really appreciate it. All right. So let's go ahead with, and let me know when you can see the presentation. Let's see. If you can say, I don't know, if you could say picture, and you just type in picture in the comments when you see my picture on there. Nope, not that one. Slideshow. There we go. All right, can you guys see that? Can you see my mug over here? I see my tie is crooked in that picture. I need to Photoshop that out. Okay, so here we go. So guys, if you want to learn to work less hours, work less weekends, and work with clients you are in the right place. Here is why. Okay, as I mentioned, I speak to hundreds of people. You're probably in excess of 1,000, right? And it's okay, because the things that you're going through, the frustrations we all have, working too much, not enough time for family, not enough money at the end of the month, right? We're all going through it. Everyone goes through it at a certain point. It's part of the hustle, it's part of the struggle, and but it doesn't always have to be that way, right? You know, if you think about it, sometimes you see someone that's in the business and they've been going at it a long time, you know, and they're cranking, you know, they make it look effortless, right? But at certain point, everybody started at the bottom, right? Everyone started at some point, you know, not everybody just came into it and was a top producer. But like I said, even the person that makes it look easy at one point struggled, right? Because we don't all have this figured out. We weren't born knowing how to do the things that we know how to do, and especially the things that we excel at. So sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating saying, well, why is it so easy for that person? Trust me, it's not easy for that person. They just went down the wrong road a bunch of times and finally figured out the plan, right? By the way, just out of curiosity, guys, if any of you have ever felt in your business, especially in the last year, that you know you struggled, or that it's tough to working with too many buyers, or there's 10 offers for every house, or people kind of run you around in circles, type struggle in the comments, just out of curiosity, because I know I have absolutely been there. And just let me know if anyone else, you know, kind of feels that same thing, or you've ever experienced that at any time in your career. All right. So again, feel free to let it out. This is here. We're here to not only, you know, hear each other and be heard, but more importantly, like sometimes it helps to know that you're not alone, right? To know that someone else has gone through this, and maybe that person may or may not have figured it out, so you don't have to, right? I see Michael's with me. Michael Humphreys, awesome. Yeah, we've all been there, Mike. And just remember, right? If you're wondering if this will ever end, it will. Okay, but you're going to have to do something about it, right? So it's like Einstein talks about the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, sometimes you need to, you know, go down a dark road. You see that it doesn't work that right. Okay, let me try this other one. Ooh, that doesn't work so good. Let me try another one. And sooner or later, you find a path that has a light, okay? Or you find someone to light your path. Now, today who's going to most benefit from this, right, are going to be residential agents that have either never closed a commercial transaction, right? Residential agents that have closed some commercial transactions but want to start learning how to close larger transactions or more commercial transactions. Or it could be for real estate agents that aren't sure if they want to get started in residential or in commercial. Hopefully this will kind of weigh out both sides of the equation. You guys with me? So far, so good? By the way, show of hands, right, guys? Give me a +1 if you've ever closed a commercial transaction, or a +2 if you've never closed a commercial transaction. And by the way, the reason why I have you guys typing into the chat, right? Our brains, the way we work, the way we absorb information, the more senses that you use, right, the better off you'll be. Here's what I mean. If you're using your sight and your ears and you're typing or you're writing, you're taking notes, okay? Your brain is going to store these things, these pieces of data in different places, okay? So the more those things you can combine, then you'll absolutely be able to recall these at a later date. So this isn't woo-woo, this is science, right? This is how the brain works. In fact, I was just reading something today talking about the flow state, and that when you are in the flow state, you will tend to be able to retain twice as much information because you are zoned in, and all the neurochemicals that are firing off when you are in a flow state, when you have no distractions, the better, the more focused you are, the more you're going to retain. Okay, so if you can, just give me just 20 minutes of your time, and I think you'll come away with a good lesson here. Right. So I see Joe's a +2, Carol's a +1. Got it. Awesome. Thank you guys for engaging. Appreciate it. Okay, so my goals are to show you that just by adding a couple deals, by adding a commercial brokerage and just a few deals a year can have a major impact on your business and your lifestyle. By the way, guys, for those of you who have just gotten on recently, go ahead and put in the chat what state you're coming in from, because I want to show you something in just a little bit. So do me that favor, and I'll show you where we're going with this. Okay, and the only way for you to close more commercial properties, right, is to follow a proven plan with the right tools and the right guidance. So that is my wish, my sincere wish for everybody, that if they are looking to do something, that they find the path of least resistance, whatever is going to work the best for them. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how we bridge the gap in between residential and commercial by learning the commercial real estate foundations, demystifying and understanding valuation, and why you need to build a solid investor list. Joe's here from Nevada. Okay, great, awesome. That's right. I saw you were from Vegas. So this is me. I'm that silly guy walking outside by the water. There's obviously not a ton of commercial buildings, mostly apartment buildings behind me. But the idea is, I want to show you that I'm not just. This isn't just theory, right? This is real stuff. I mean, if you see me with a big smile on my face, what I'm holding is a wire transfer. So I don't preach because I read this in a book. I don't preach because I heard this, at the water cooler. This is something I do every day. Not necessarily what I'm about to show you, but this isn't a theory, like I said. This is just to show you the possibilities. This is, if you know me personally, you know I'm not a braggart, but I want to show you what's out there for you. Okay, this is one transaction. This was about 2 years ago. This was one transaction from the sale of one property. It was $3,960,000, I think it was. One property, and this is a property that I listed and sold. Also had found the buyer and made $178,000 in one transaction, one day. Okay, so just to show you, this isn't just something that happens on accident. There's a lot of preparation to get to that point. But if one man can do it, so can another man or woman too. Okay. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I'm the owner of Dark Horse Commercial. I'm a full-time broker. I have my CCIM designation. I worked in property management for over 10 years. I have an entrepreneurship and small business management degree. Also worked heavily in construction in my master plumber's license. I have my Florida electrical contractor's license, and I grew up in a commercial real estate development family. So I live, eat, and breathe this stuff. That's all I've known my entire life. People ask me how long I've been in real estate for, commercial real estate. I tell them 44 years because I've been doing it since the day I was born, right? Now, what I'm about to do is I'm about to show you, I'm going to compare and contrast the residential practice to the commercial practice. But please, please, please understand, it's not my intent to belittle or talk badly about the residential side of the equation, but merely to show you what the possibilities are in commercial. That's the only reason I would show you a wire transfer, not to brag, but to show you like this is possible. And I'm a mere mortal. I'm just a regular guy, but I learned a skill set, applied the skill set, and you can too. Okay. And then I want to give you an idea of what adding commercial to your current practice, how greatly that can impact your life and that of your family. So most people, they want to get into commercial brokerage for one or two reasons. Either they want more time back in their life, time to spend for themselves, time to spend with family, or they want more money in their pocket, or both. Okay. The biggest thing that I get, and now mind you, this is, my Facebook group has over 1,100 people and counting now. And I speak to people on a daily basis. This is from empirical data across 4 different time zones, 5 actually time zones in the United States. This is what we hear all across the country in all 50 states, right? That on residential, the expectation is that of 24/7 availability. Whoever created the iPhone, it's been a blessing and a curse. If anyone is with me and says sometimes they wish they could throw this in a deep, deep river, type +1 in the chat, because sometimes it's great and sometimes it makes your life a lot easier, but sometimes it feels like, like an anchor around your neck. Give me a +1 if you hate being tied to your phone 24/7, having to answer texts at all hours of the night and emails and so forth. Now, if we're going to contrast that with the commercial side of things, remember, in commercial, you are dealing typically with business owners. You're typically dealing with investors. You know, in the residential side, you know, probably 80% of people or 90% of people work for somebody else. So you have to ask for time off when you're going to look for a house. So the majority of your work, or a good portion of it, is going to be at night and on weekends. Commercial, your expectation is 9 to 5, 9 to 6, you know, Monday through Friday. Okay. Next up. Residential side, you guys have more more individual data points, you know, more transactions. In commercial, we tend to have fewer transactions, but the commissions on the commercial side tend to be larger. You know, and we're going to go into show you what the averages are in just a second. And mind you, I don't make opinions. This is data driven. I'm very much an analyst and very much a data guy. I'll show you what the actual data is and what the statistics are, so you can see. Don't take my word for it. I always tell people, brokers will tell you stories, but the numbers will never lie to you. On the residential side, a lot of folks explain to me what it's like to work with emotional clients, and it's sometimes a constant roller coaster. You got to think, you're dealing with something that's extremely personal to people. It's going to be their forever home. It's going to be their retirement home. It's going to be a place that they're going to go and raise their children in. And so it's very personal, you know, whereas in commercial, it's ones, it's zeros. It's not a personal decision. Like they say in The Godfather, it's just business. It's nothing personal, right? Same thing, ones and zeros. If the rate of return makes sense, you got a good deal. If it doesn't make sense, that's it. I'm willing to pay up to this point, and beyond that, it doesn't make sense, that type of thing. Okay. And by the way, as with a show of plus ones, tell me here who's had like some nightmare emotional clients in their life. Give me a +1 in the chat. Let me know if that makes sense, or hit the like button if you've ever experienced that. All right. Another thing that we deal with is on the residential side, for all my students and prospective students explain to me, is that a lot of the decision making is feeling based, right? As opposed to logic-based decision-making. Like I said, we're very analytical on my side. Thanks, guys, for the likes. But you know, on the commercial side, you're definitely dealing more with spreadsheets, ones and zeros. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And there's not a lot of emotion or feeling. It's mostly a logic-based decision. We do have longer deal cycles, but those longer deal cycles, as we'll see in just a minute, more than offset with the size of the commissions. And again, due to the fact that we're typically dealing business to business, we have our weekends off. You know, in large part, I can count. Put it this way: in 18 years, I can count on 2 hands how many times I've done a showing on a weekend. Right? So it's not something that's really expected of you on the commercial side. And residential, I know a lot of folks. I was just talking to a gentleman today, and he was saying that he worked all weekend, didn't have any chance to spend time with his family. So I'd like to see you do less of that and have more time off. And then we'll go into in just a second what the commissions look like. But on average, the commercial commissions are more money, and on the residential side, they're smaller. And here's what I mean. So if you look at the typical earnings, now this is again statistics. According to the NAR, right, the average commercial realtor makes $85,000 annually versus $39,300 for residential agents. Now here's the thing. I know none of you out there that are here spending your time to improve your skills are average, okay? But what I want to point out, it's not about the 85 or the 39,000. It's a question of 85 versus 39,000, right? So if you look at that, it is more than double. And that's because of the product that we sell on the commercial side. And we're going to get into what the specific numbers are, but that's an average agent. And I know none of you that are watching this are average, okay? So the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the average annual income, like I said, was 44,000, 39,000, same ballpark, right? But most sources indicate, again, this is a second source, that commercial agents earn somewhere around 85,000. Again, that's average. Now, what's more important is, if you look at the bottom here, commercial sales agents have a median gross income of 153,000, right? And leasing agents have a median gross income of 134. Now let's compare that 153 to that 39. Okay, that's a median, which means that half of the people earn more than that and half of the people earn less than that. So it's nice to be right in the middle there. Okay. So again, Now, so that's what people are earning, right? Let's talk about the average size commercial transaction, okay? The average, now this is according to the NAR's commercial lending survey, right? The National Association of Realtors. The average commercial transaction size in markets served by realtors has been about $1.6 million, okay? So you can see, especially when we take a look at the next slide, what the difference is, right? If you look at the average commercial versus the median home price, which is half the homes are larger, half the sales are bigger, and half the sales are smaller, right? It's $340,000. So at, let's say, like a 3% fee, right? Then this is how commercial commissions are made. Typically, the commercial commission structure mimics the residential commissions up to about $5 million. So if you're in a state where, you have, if you're in a state where it's like a 6% commission when you sell a home, so basically the commercial commissions are going to be about the same up to about the $5, maybe $7 million mark. Then they start to drop off a little bit. But an average commercial transaction nationwide is 1.6 million. So a 6% fee on that's going to be 96,000 per side is going to be about 48,000. Now I saw here, okay, we have Olga's in Florida. Average in Florida is 1.9 million. Okay, so if we look at what an average size transaction is, 1.9 million, right? So I want to show everybody what this means in real dollars. Okay, it's 57,000. Okay, you can see that. Whereas let's see, we have Joe's from Nevada. Okay, so I have a list of state by state what we have here. And Nevada is 2.4 million. Nice. So 2.4 times 0.03. Boom. $72,000. That's your average, Joe. Right? So that's for 1/2 of an average transaction in your state. Okay. What are the states? We got Michael Humphreys. Ooh, I know California like the back of my hand. California is $2.8 million. Like I said, you guys are the second only to Hawaii. Hawaii's 3.8, right? But 2.8 million times 3% equals $84,000. Okay. We've got a North Carolina. Let's see, North Carolina, 1.2 million. 1, 2. Okay, $36,000. Okay, one commission, guys. This is average stuff. These are numbers that are published with CoStar. Okay, so if you just think of what it would take, what's average in your state. If I didn't get your state, go ahead and fire it off in the chat for me. I'll fill you in just to give you a little bit of context. Oh, I saw we have Michigan, right? Carol's from Michigan. Michigan. Yeah, Michigan's 1 million, right? So your average commercial transaction is going to be 30,000. Okay, so these are really, really nice numbers, guys, for one transaction. Okay, now if we're going to take that and we're going to juxtapose that with the residential commissions, that median number, and of course in your state it might be higher, it might be lower, but just to give you a ballpark average, a 3% commission on a $340,000 sale price is going to be about $10,000, right? Whereas the median average sale price is 1.6 times 3% is 48,000. So even in states like California, where you have high home prices and so forth, your average home price might be 1.2, 1.4. Your average commercial price is still double that. So I don't know of a single state where the residential prices are equal to or even higher than the commercial. All right, but just to show you kind of what it looks like. So what does that mean in big picture? It means, number one, you could do the same amount of transactions and earn more money, or number two, you could make the same money and work with less people. And sometimes less people means less headaches, means less calls at 7 o'clock in the morning, or texts at 11 o'clock at night, or you're texting Sunday morning when you're on your way to church with your family, that type of thing. Does that make sense? Is there anybody out there that would like to work less, and does that make sense for anybody? They want to work less and make more, maybe, or one or the other, or both. If anyone wants to make more money and work less hours, type both in the chat for me, to let me know that you're with me, because that's what I would like to do. I think we all would. I think it's human nature, right? So Carol says, cool, Olga, awesome. All right, yep. Okay, so basically, if you boil it down and it's into the simplest way possible, you'd have to sell almost in certain states 5 houses to equal 1 commercial sale on average. All right. So that's what I want to get you guys away from. The more, just add a little bit of commercial. You don't have to throw out everything that's working for you, but we'll talk about that, right? What would you do with more time, right? If you could get rid of some of those headache clients and work with people that you like working with and then offset your income, right? Does that make sense for any of you guys? Okay. What would that look like? What would that future look like to you? What, you had more time, more time to spend on yourself, your hobbies, with your family, with the ones you love, right? Doing the things you love. Would you, if you had more money, what would you do with more money? Would you, I don't know, would you save for your kids' college? What would you do? Would you get a bigger house? Would you save for retirement? Would you save for a rainy day? Would you maybe buy your wife that car that she always wanted? Would you impact your community, donate to your church, help the poor? What does that look like for you? Okay. So in fact, I want to go around and see if anybody has any questions, because I always try to leave you with something that will just kind of make you think, right? What would you do in this situation? So if there's anything that you guys can think of, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. But I want to let you know that we have a 6-month coaching program that we offer, right? CRE basic training. We have a private coaching program. We help residential agents learn how to sell commercial without years and years of spinning your tires. It's very easy to get into a business, especially one as technical as commercial real estate, and not make any progress if you don't have a good game plan and you don't have someone to light the way for you. I offer a program that takes you from A to Z. I created it specifically with residential agents in mind, specifically ones that have never done any commercial. I mean, if you've already done a handful of deals, awesome, you'll get there faster. But you don't have to worry about not knowing anything. You don't have to worry about anything. It's like, for those of you that are football fans, there's this famous old football coach. And even though he was a Super Bowl winning coach, he would pick up a football and say, gentlemen, this is a football, right? He would start with the basics, and that's exactly what we do. That's why we call it CRE basic training, because we're just taking you from the very beginning, just like the military takes somebody from being a civilian to being a soldier ready for war. That's what we do also, okay? If you want to work less weekends, you want to have more time with your family, and you want to be able to have money to put away, definitely reach out to me in the comments, or if you want to, type training in the comments now, and I'd be happy to let you know and hop on a conversation. Joe says, best ways to prospect and find owners. Awesome question. If you want my personal opinion and what is, in my estimation, the most effective, it is absolutely dialing by phone. And the best way to find owners is find a system that works for you. So it might be LexisNexis, it might be peoplesearch.com, it might be TLO is another one. There are a bunch of different ones. They're not all equal around the United States. Some aggregate data better in certain areas, but I would definitely ask around. The fastest path to money is cold calling, and it's cold calling and getting to the sell side and representing sellers exclusively. I could do a whole training on that, but basically CRE, commercial real estate, or residential real estate for that matter, is like a pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid, you can have kind of deals kind of fall in your lap and close a little bit amount, but the higher you get up, you go from leasing to working with buyers, from buyers to non-exclusive listings or off-market listings, all the way up to working exclusively with sellers. So the best way to prospect is to reach out via phone, try to get a hold of owners. And the way to do that would be to go through your county records. And then once you go through the county records, find a good searching. I recommend TLO, but it's not always easy for people to utilize because they're very strict over who they allow access to the data. But LexisNexis is another one, peoplesearch.com. I think it's called Spokio is another one. So definitely check that out. Any other questions, guys? I'm here. I'm an open resource for you guys. Let me know. But if you don't have any further questions, again, we have a 6-month coaching program. If you want to, take your business in a different direction, maybe work a bit smarter and not harder, because there's only so many hours at the end of the day, please let me know. I would be happy to have a conversation with you. Type training down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to talk to you and explain to you what's involved and what's entailed and how we can help you get to the lifestyle and the business that you want and the one you're looking for. So without further ado, guys, thank you so much for coming by. I hope this illuminated some things. I hope it kind of put things in perspective for you, and I will catch up with you next week. See you same time, same place. Mark it in your calendars, 5 p.m. Eastern, because we're going to do trainings. We're going to show things. And next week, we're going to be going over what the specific skills are that residential agents need in order to bridge the gap between residential and commercial. So stay tuned for that, and we'll talk about those skills in particular. Have a great week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.